spoken.
Sorry, guys. My brother called and knocked me off the recording.
Hey, thank y'all guys for thank y'all guys for being on time for your appointment this evening tonight. We were going to definitely be talking about a real touchy topic tonight. Coping with a loss. We know
Yeah.
a lot of people deal with that. Softly spoken. Coping.
Yes, they do. Everyone, it affects each and every one of us on some level.
Absolutely. And for y'all guys, there's for our listeners and our viewers, we definitely know that there's, sometimes, you have family or friends or even yourself might be dealing with coping with a loss. It could be coping with the loss of a loved one or a friend or a significant other or whatever you might be dealing with.
Right. It could be loss of employment. It could be the loss of the plan that you had for your life. It could be the loss of friendships. It can even be graduating from school.
Yes,
There's so many things that fit under that umbrella of coping with loss.
yes, that is so true. And what we should do is when you coping with loss of a loved one or a family member, friends, or just like you said, employment or something that was so dear to you. It could have been loss of you could have lost some items,
Right.
very special items that you may have, and it was either lost or stolen. So there's so
Mm-hmm.
many different elements of someone losing or coping with loss.
Right.
And
I mean, imagine losing something that was passed down in your family for generations.
right.
You know, that could be huge,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
I agree. I agree.
So it's like, what do you do to help you to navigate through that and navigate through those feelings that you have?
That is so true. Let me
Hmm.
ask you a question. How can someone cope with losing we'll say like some kind of let's say materialistic stuff, but no, but something that's very was very precious to them, whether it was jewelry or a painting or something that they really cherish. How can they cope with a situation like that? What would you think they should do?
I think the first thing you have to do is accept the fact that you're grieving because of this loss
Hmm.
and be kind to yourself and, you know, acknowledge those feelings and those emotions because they're valid and it's okay for you to be feeling this way.
I agree with you. When you dealing with a loss of something of a family or a possession of something, an item that was very dear to you, you sometimes you have to try to cope with it, and the best way you know how to. Sometimes you have to talk to someone that can sit down and listen with you, or just
Right.
saying, you know what, when you lose someone very dear to you, sometimes that wound doesn't heal overnight and may not never heal. But what you do is you
Right.
think of the great memories that your loved one that you cherish with them. They may not be
Mm-hmm.
here, they may not be go form, but they'll live on forever, and they can live through you, through good spirits, through good vibes, and you cherish them, you honor them, you cherish them. And sometimes
Right.
when you're dealing
And I
with go ahead softly.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm saying sometimes it's always good to, if you have to get sit down, talk to someone, a therapist or a counselor, someone that can just sit there and just can give you great advice, or when you might be dealing with something that's you dealing with pain and heartache, and dealing
Hmm.
with a coping of a loss of something. I think that's important to try to identify what you might be going through. When you identify it,
Hmm.
when you identify it, you just say, you just move forward from it. You just don't stay in one place. You just move forward and just keep the legacy alive. And
Right. I think that's so important. You touched on something huge. Identify it so that you can move on from it or move through it.
yes, yes. I mean, I think that's the right way to do it, far as for your mental, your physical well-being. Because if a person grieve
Hmm.
too hard, they might, it might, it'll definitely can destroy it can destroy the mental state, it can destroy their health. It can definitely destroy
Right,
well-being when you don't reach out to someone, or you don't talk it out, you know,
right.
because coping with
And I mean, like
feeling.
this week, this week is Thanksgiving, which is going to trigger a lot of people because there's somebody who used to be there who's not there anymore, or either we can't get together because of COVID. So it's going to bring up some feelings of loneliness and everything else. I mean, one thing that I've done because I've suffered a lot of loss in my family, we have Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas or something like that. We set a plate for that person. So they're still included in our family gatherings. So it's like creating a positive out of that loss, not forgetting about them and still honoring them. I think we can do little things like that to help minimize our feelings of that loss.
I agree. Do y'all guys what y'all if you lost one of your family members or friends, and y'all sit around a dinner table, you sit around with your family. Do y'all guys sit around and cherish the memories of that loved one that passed on? Do y'all kind of sit around and speak up the family member on the great times y'all guys had when y'all did the thing, you had your Thanksgiving family get together?
We do.
Okay.
We do. We talk about them. We share those stories. Also, for me, it's important that the children know about that person. Know the history of their family line. So we talk about the ancestors. So that way, their stories never die. There's an African proverb that says the worst death is to die twice. So not just the physical death, but that no one ever says your name again.
Wow.
So we make sure we still talk about them.
Right. Because y'all keeping their memory alive. And it's
Right,
through you they live on.
right.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Mhm.
I mean, for
Yeah.
me personally, I don't, and
Mhm.
I'm being honest with all my listeners, I don't really celebrate Thanksgiving like that. I have my personal reasons why I don't, but it's
Mhm.
always good to be around family and friends during that time. You can get
Mhm.
sit down and have a meal and speak on how's everyone doing, socializing, networking, and just seeing how your family. You probably haven't seen them in a whole year. So this is
Right.
a time when everybody does get together when these certain holidays. So I salute people who do are family oriented and just love being around a family environment. So that's pretty cool. So
Right.
I mean,
But I don't want people to get caught up in a holiday. I mean, for me, Thanksgiving, Christmas, it's really just about spending time with family. It's not about anything else because we both know these are things that are created.
mhm,
And a lot, this is what we've been programmed for. So I don't want people to fall into a depression because of something they have been programmed to believe is true and programmed to believe that they have to participate in because they don't.
that's a great point, softly. You're so right because people get caught that them days like the Valentine's Day, the Mother's Day, the Father's Day. people really they take those days very hard when they have lost a loved one. Or it's good for some and it's bad for others. So yes, you're right. We gotta kind of like, okay, not look at that day as painful, but just if you had lost a mother or if you lost a father on Father's and Mother's Day, cherish the memories as best if you can.
Right.
Even if you never had a mother or father, find if you had an uncle or aunt or someone close to you, it's okay to say, it's okay to say those days to those to the ones because they could have been inspiring you. Maybe they could
Right.
thank adopted mother or adopted father, in those cases, that's another way of
Mm-hmm.
coping with a loss where you can kind of like honor someone else. That's
Mm-hmm.
honor someone, honor the living, but never forget
Hmm.
forget those who passed on, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, what do you think about people who are, it's now 20 years later, and they still go through this deep depression around the holidays, or it's they're crying and they're depressed every time that they think about this person, but it's been 20 years. What do you think about that?
First of all, if it's been 20 years, they really need to seek out help. They really need to see someone that can really listen. It's like a cry out. Not saying someone's crying
Mm-hmm.
physically, but it's a cry out. It's because if you're dealing with this for like 20 years, you really need help. You really need to kind of reach out to someone, whether if even if you don't have that many friends or family, reach out to someone that can really listen to your cry out. But
Right.
it's never good to be alone and dealing with that for 20 years. But yeah, you're gonna have softly spoken. You're gonna have some people that's dealing with a loss because that phone sometimes
Mm-hmm.
still they could have lost someone close to them in their family. But my thing is, it's never good to be by yourself when you um dealing with that grieving for all those years. Because you're right, there's people in they 50s, 60s, 70s still grieve over they mother or they father or they sister or brother or they uncles, you know.
Right.
So I think it's very important, young or old, you should always reach out to someone, whether it's professional or someone that can really get you in the right direction, letting you know it's okay to let it out. You're not alone. There's a lot of people that grieving and lost family, So I
Right.
don't think that's to all my viewers, to all my listeners, please, if you're dealing with something right now, whether it's like losing loss a loved one close to you, and you're dealing with that pain, and sometimes you don't know how to deal with it, it's okay to let it out, but also don't stay alone. Don't be alone. Just reach out to someone that can kind of like help you and get you through it to get you back on your feet. Because grieving, no one should never grieve alone. No one should never grieve alone.
Right.
I really do believe that. I,
Right.
I know that from I
I
know
mean,
that from
sometimes,
experience. Go ahead softly.
do you think that sometimes when people are grieving for that long, it's not really the grieving it's more guilt and shame that they feel? Maybe they feel like they didn't show up in the person's life or something like that. Do you think that could be a possibility on why it lasts for so long?
I believe so. They start blaming themselves. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but even though you should never no one should never beat themselves up. If something happened, you gotta learn to forgive yourself. You gotta learn to live and forgive and don't forget, but just move forward and identify, far as what may have happened. You didn't have the chance. You didn't get that chance to spend time, or you didn't get a chance to say you were sorry. Or something could have happened, but do we continue beating ourselves up? Because that can really astray you real quick. That can take your whole life away from you. Um,
All right.
I really do believe why you see people you'd be surprised I mean, as far as people that might be homeless, they have
Hmm.
kind of like felt a guilt or felt ashamed. Um, you'd be surprised at people that might be homeless or probably in jail for things that they wish they can like take back.
Right.
They can get back, excuse me, which they can get back from the mistakes they made.
Hmm.
But I don't think you should never keep beating yourself up because you could never move forward. It's
Yep.
definitely unhealthy for you, you know. So I think that we should never beat ourselves or whatever happened, you have to learn to forgive yourself and move forward and forget and
Right.
if you move forward, you can forgive yourself first, and then you start showing a great example. Speak to someone, they can learn from your mistake. So they learn from your mistake and they won't go down the same path because
Right.
you can't get your loved one back. You can't tell them now you sorry or I wish I can like hug them again or embrace them again. You just got to learn that life goes on. You have to just say, you know what, you forgave yourself, and there's higher power that can get you through it.
Right. I mean, you can always write them a letter and tell them how you feel. That way, it gets it out of your system. Um, there. I also want people to understand too some of the things that happen to us physically when we're coping with a loss. We can have insomnia. We can have fatigue, of course, if we have insomnia. You can lose weight, you can gain weight, you can have body aches. There's a lot of things that, go in to not just the mental part, but the physical part of accepting and coping with a loss.
Right.
You know.
So yeah, so how did you I know you probably experienced it many a times. Do you still do you still kind of like grieve for a long period of time? Like people close to you, softly spoken, do you experience that a lot?
For me, I'm a little different. I guess I've had lost so much in my life. I really, because of my belief system,
Mm-hmm.
I look at it as like Mendel said, energy is neither created nor destroyed. So our loved ones just transform into a different form of energy. And so I know that they're still around me. So I don't grieve like that. I also, I honor my ancestors. So um, sometimes it's difficult for me to um to help somebody that's going through a grieving process that doesn't look like mine. It doesn't mean I don't care about the person at all. It's just sometimes I just don't understand. So for certain people, like let's say you're still grieving 20 years later, I'm probably not the person that you should come to and talk to.
Right.
Um, you should find a support system or like you said, a therapist, because that's beyond that. I don't have those tools in my toolkit. I can be empathetic,
Mm-hmm.
but know what that looks like. So sometimes you have to find the right person to talk to because not everybody can help you. Not all of your friends can help you. And so you have to kind of reach out and find those people who can help you through that situation.
Wow, that is wow. That's greatly said from you, softly spoken. As I agree with you. If
Right.
sometimes we may not, sometimes a person may not be the one that you can kind of like get the right answers from, and sometimes you just have to seek out more. Like I said,
Hmm.
professionally, an average person probably can
Hmm.
tell you anything to make you feel good. You know,
Right.
it's very important to like reach out and deal with that. So yeah, so when you coping with loss, I believe when you keep your loved one memories alive, the frequency. I feel as though they spirit still evolves around you, um,
Right.
on a level where sometimes, and this I don't want my viewers to be afraid, and that sometimes they can come through you through plants and flowers. Sometimes they can come
Hmm.
come they can come to you when there's a light, beautiful breeze or beautiful sunlight, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they can generate from on different levels of the universe. Now, does
Right.
that doesn't sound crazy to you, softly spoken, does it?
Not at all. I'm a medium, so I talk to dead people all the time.
Right. So I don't
Um,
want my clients not to be afraid, but I really feel as though and it's just my opinion. I believe a loss of a loved one, I feel as though if they lived a good life, I believe they can transition from just different elements to let you know that they're still amongst the living. They still live through you because
right.
keeping you keeping that high frequency, you keeping their legacy alive, king or queen.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I want people to know when you may not see your loved one physically, you coping with a loss, you may not see them physically, but trust and believe when you speak of them, if you speak through good frequency and positivity and the way they live their life, good or bad, some good can come out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
And okay, so I'm getting ready to get deeper for a second, and a lot of people might not agree with me, but that's fine. When you think of your loved one in always a negative way, in terms of, oh, I just miss them so much, and I wish they were here, and da, 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 you're actually holding them and binding them instead of releasing them and letting them be free. Because nobody wants to see their loved one in pain and hurting.
right.
So in my head, we have to change that vibration and send them light and love and energy to lift their spirits up too. We don't want our loved one on the other side sad and depressed.
Hey, right, I agree. I agree with you.
Speak wonderful things about them. Give them light.
And yeah,
Again, that's just my opinion.
well, I thank you for that softly spoken. I think that's something to really think about, and someone that's listening might be saying, you know what, softly spoken is right. I have thought of that before, you know. Um,
Mm.
so we will get we you will get through this. If you're coping with a loss this year or to this week or last week, just know that whatever you have lost, just know that you can gain again through just leading by an example, just sharing, um, keeping the memory alive. That's very important. Keeping that person's memory alive, and
Right,
and they'll continue. You'll keep them going. You'll keep they memory alive.
right,
You'll know that you'll never forget them. So that's
right.
Yeah. So, hey, softly spoken, I want to let our clients know what we have coming up next week. Can you explain to them about the giveaway?
I can. Yes, we have something good happening. But wait, I want to say one thing,
Sure.
and then we can talk about the giveaway. Because I don't want us to sit here and be arrogant and think that everybody can afford therapy. Therapy is very expensive.
Yeah,
And if you don't have it in your health plan or something like that, you might want to look for a therapist. They do have therapy where it's a sliding fee. So it's based on your income. So you can see a therapist for sometimes as low as $5.
that's correct.
The other thing you can look for is support groups, and they have grief support groups where you won't have to pay anything. So it's about thinking outside of the box and finding more than one way to navigate. Because again, like we said, um, therapy is expensive,
Yeah.
and I get that,
Yes.
but there are other resources.
Yes. You're so right about that. So
So, okay, so now on to the good thing. So we have come up with a wonderful plan because we know the holidays are coming up. And a couple of weeks ago, we did a session on achieving greatness. So we're challenging our listeners to reach out to us and tell us how they're being great. The first person who reaches out to us will win a candle gift pack. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm going to purchase it myself, and we're going to make sure it's wonderful and great.
Yeah.
And we just want to engage you. So I do want to say too, I do have a phone number that you can text. It's 267-225-2942. Again, that's 267-225-2942. Okay, and you can send me text messages as well as you can reach out to Mr. DuPreeShamir on all of his, social media apps and everything else.
That's right.
But we like for you to engage with us and talk to us.
Yeah, we want y'all guys to just interact with us and us, let us know, what you're feeling, how you, like this show. If you have questions you want us to answer, we answer the best way that we can possibly can. If we don't know the answer, we will get that answer for you. We being honest with you. Yes, we the
Yes,
therapists,
we will.
we the therapists on the podcast show Therapy Lounge. We're not professionals, but we're only professionals on a podcast, Therapy Lounge. You know,
Right,
you can still get your therapeutic
right.
treatment. You can still get your therapeutic treatment here, but we always advise our listeners, our clients to seek professional help. It's very important to do
Mm,
that, though. And even if you don't have medical coverage, there's a lot of assistance out there, as we all know, the public assistance and everything out there. There's a lot of information out there, programs that you can sign up for. So please,
right.
if you're coping with loss or you're coping with anything, please get that seek out for help. Don't harm yourself,
Hmm.
don't hurt yourself. Seek out for help. There's professional people out there that will listen to you. So don't feel ashamed, don't feel alone. If you're coping with a loss
Right.
tonight, please listen to this show, and we definitely want you guys to DM Social Therapy IG on Instagram. Yeah, also you can follow us on there, DM us on Twitter, Social Therapy number one. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We still gonna be looking for up and coming and anybody that's very have a gift, is very talented. We definitely looking for people to come to our channel, and we will promote your craft on Social Therapy Mag. That's our channel on YouTube. So subscribe to our channel. Everybody, we
Hmm.
everybody right now for subscribing to our channel is gonna get bigger and better. We really appreciate your support, and also you can make a donation to our podcast here, anchor.fm DuPreeShamir. It was softly spoken. I mean, little as $5 or $1. The amount it all goes to us, like far as like doing like a live event, even though we know we in the COVID-19 right now, but we can still do 6 to 6 feet distance, wherever the case may be. And even if we have like a small group of people, 5 people, we wanna see y'all guys physically. We wanna talk to you. We wanna interact with y'all guys. We wanna network with you guys. We wanna let y'all guys know that the pre-shot man softly spokens are here for you. This is a platform.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm so happy that I had my co-host softly spoken with me tonight.
Yes, after last week.
Yeah, even listen, nothing. We're gonna keep growing. So we have these type of situations, the technical difficulties, but that don't stop therapy lambs and that don't stop the pre-shot man softly spoken. We thank y'all guys for your patience. And you want to leave our clients with any last words before we get off here, softly spoken?
Just don't forget, reach out to us and let us know how you're being great. We look forward to reading your comments. We really want to hear what you have to say. You are important to us. And just know that you're not alone. We know this can be a rough week for a lot of people, but you're not alone.
You're not alone. You're definitely not alone. So make sure you follow DuPreeShamir on Twitter. Please, you can interact with me, ask me anything. So, and I'll do all I can to just answer all your questions and your concerns. So I want to thank y'all guys for coming to your appointment, and make sure y'all guys be on time for your appointment next Monday at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Until then, I want to thank y'all guys for